proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, pilot Jack Rubin in Skycam 16, chief meteorologist Tom Clark, and Joe Zone on sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. Is the government going to do anything to help victims of Hurricane Gloria? And if so, when?
Those are just two of the many questions people in our area have been asking lately. Well, today, teams from the federal and state governments are in northeastern Pennsylvania checking out flood damage. Newswatch 16's Mark Johannes says it's just one step in a long process, and some flood victims in Scranton are getting tired of waiting.
Nobody says nothing. They say, we'll look into it. Everybody's going to look into it. City, the state, the federal, everybody's in here. We'll look into it. Nobody's doing nothing.
Clarence Chick of Scranton may be talking about his own problems, a damaged foundation and mud in the cellar, but all around this flooded area of town, you hear the same complaints. Help is too slow in coming.
They don't seem to know nothing. They got to get permission from this and permission from the section.
Now, a team of federal and state people is on the scene to see how bad the damage is.
We will do an ongoing preliminary damage assessment. And that's what this is called. This is a preliminary damage assessment.
That means these people will be going door to door and street by street, writing down estimates of damage. If the damage is bad enough, the president might declare this area of Scranton a disaster area.
There's quite a bit of damage here. I was a little surprised, as a matter of fact.
Even though these crews are continuing to look at the damage and adding up the figures, we're told the earliest we could have a disaster declaration from the president is Thursday or Friday.
That's because this survey team reports to the governor. If the governor thinks the situation is bad enough, he'll ask the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, for help. FEMA will then ask the president. But a presidential declaration will take days if it happens at all. Mark Johannes, Newswatch 16, Scranton.
You may remember when people were cleaning up after the Agnes flood 13 years ago, the president declared a disaster area that released $5,000 grants to victims. Well, many people are wondering tonight about federal help after Gloria. Congressman Joe McDade is standing by live via satellite from Washington now. Congressman, first of all, thank you for joining us. Now, if this area is declared a federal disaster, will the people get a lot of free money, that is, grants from the federal government?
Well, there are two conditions under which grants would be available utilizing federal money. The first would be the declaration, as you have indicated, of a presidential disaster. That requires the governor to certify to Washington that he needs that to be done. If that happens, those who are in very severe economic circumstances would be eligible for $5,000 in grants. There is one other method by which those who are in severe financial circumstances can get grants as opposed to loans, and that is through the Community Development Block Grant Program, which, as you know, is administered by the City of Scranton. They have broad authorities under that program to make both grants and loans to individuals who are severely hurt. The basic declaration, be it presidential or less than presidential, must, however, be requested by the governor before the federal government can act. Except that any local community that gets community development block grants, like the City of Scranton, can declare, as has been declared, a state of emergency, set the wheels in motion, and take care of citizens who cannot, under any circumstances, find ways to repair their homes. They can get up to $5,000.
And you just said, Congressman, the other day, they can get that $5,000 free money if they meet certain economic requirements.
That's right. That's right, Nolan. We need to understand that we're talking about people who are victimized by the hurricane. They need to tote up what's happened to them in a financial way. Then, normally what happens is a loan officer sits down with them, as they did in Hurricane Agnes, figures out the damage, qualifies them either for a very low rate, 4% interest loan for their homes, for their personal property, or for a business loss. If they can get credit elsewhere, that interest rate goes up to 8%, but they qualify across the spectrum the same way. If, on the other hand, they are individuals who are very poor, they can be assisted if we get a presidential declaration up to $5,000 of documented damage, or on the other hand, the city can use community development block grant money, which comes from the federal government, for the very same purpose.
So more than likely, we'll see both of those avenues used in this situation in Scranton because of the extensive damage, right?
Well, Nolan, I don't know that we're going to be successful with a presidential declaration. As you know, we got the team up there. Harrisburg finally made their test, I think, on Monday, and the team came in yesterday morning and is surveying the damage.
All we can do then is wait at this point, Congressman, right? We're
Yeah, but I think we can be. It's important, Nolan, that the people of the community know optimistically that there will be available, in my judgment, at least the Small Business Disaster Loan Program.
Okay,
That's
Congressman, we've run out of time. I'm very sorry about that, but we thank you so much for taking your time to be with us.
Thank you, Nolan.
Thank you, Congressman.
Incidentally, tonight on Newswatch 16 Update, we'll be talking to Senator R. Inspector to find out what he has to say about flood aid for the flood victims. A late afternoon fire hit the Luzerne County area that has no water.
Firemen in Pittston Township are facing that problem right now. Newswatch 16's Bob Reynolds is live there. Bob, what's going on?
Well, current officials say what they feared did finally happen. That water main break that has left thousands of people without water also left fire hydrants dry during a fire. The smoky blaze broke out at the Nocatsi home on Broad Street in Pittston Township. Pittston Township fire chief tells me his men were hampered because they had to pump from nearby swimming pools. One elderly woman was rushed to MTW Hospital after being rescued by a family member. As you can imagine, the lack of water has relatives hopping mad. While firemen were busy battling the blaze, relatives saved what they could. At the present time, the Pittston Township Fire Chief is meeting with other firemen, basically trying to assess what happened here. And as we reported before, there was one person who was taken to MTW Medical Center. Fire officials here tell me they just hope that the next fire that may break out in the township, by that time they will have water. One other thing we should make note of, within minutes after this fire broke out, a large tanker truck from Pennsylvania Gas and Water Company did arrive on the scene, and firemen used water from that tanker truck to help put out this fire here. Bob Reynolds, Newswatch 16, with a live Instacam report in Pittston Township.
Thank you, Bob. PG&W says it is making progress in getting the water turned back on for about 15,000 customers who have been dry since Friday. Crews have been working around the clock on the broken water main near the Wausau Reservoir. You can see this, the reservoir there from Skycam 16. It supplies water to thousands of people from the Avoca area south to Plains Township. PG&W tells us the broken pipe is almost fixed. Then they have to disinfect the new line with chlorinated water to make sure it's sterilized. Then they'll start sending water through. The bottom line, officials hope to have the water back on late Wednesday or Thursday.
As a result of that, many people in Upper Luzerne County are dealing with a lack of water.
But there is a break for those who have been missing that morning shower. Newswatch 16's Mark Davis is live in Pittston now to fill us in. Mark?
That's right, Karen. Well, if you walk with me just a few steps here, you can see the front entrance of the Martin L. McKay Middle School here in Pittston, and the big letters, shower entrance. Well, that's very important for people here because free showers are being offered tonight. And this is quickly becoming an oasis away from the troubles caused by Hurricane Gloria. The water business is brisk here in DuPont and the many other communities without water since Gloria's visit. This afternoon, people like Donna D'Angelo were telling me that they miss clean water for showers and for bathing. Donna gets a double dose of inconvenience. Her home is without water, and she teaches at a school that's also high and dry.
I feel like I'm part of the Ingalls family heating water to take a bath every night, but I hope it'll be cleared up soon.
63-year-old Marion Zance feels a little bit luckier than most. She lives near a creek, and that's making life a little easier.
Well, I told you, I'm boiling all the water from the creek, and that's what we're bathing in, and it's clean.
Now, we should tell you the showers are open here until 8 o'clock tonight. They are free. The Pittston City School District, the Pittston Area School District, opening them up to the community as a community service. And if they ask that you bring your own towel, if you don't have any soap, they have soap here. They're open until 8 o'clock, so come on down and get clean. I'm Mark Davis, Newswatch 16, live with the Instacam at Pittston. Karen, Nolan?
Thank you, Mark. Well, free drinking water is still available for those who have no tap water, and a couple of new locations you might want to be aware of. The new ones are the Yatesville Borough Building, and a water tank is also set up at the Keystone Club on Ridgeway Road in Plains Township. Now, once again, there are the other free water distribution points. Just look for the one that's closest to you. And remember, bring your own containers for the safe, free drinking water. One other note, there is water available at Listy's in Pittston Township, but that is for cleaning purposes only. There's also drinking water available for people in the flood areas of Scranton. Now, yesterday, the mayor issued a boil advisory for tap water in the city. PG&W says the water is safe to drink, but if it's dirty, you may want to boil it for a minute. Anyway, the free bottled water can be found at all Scranton fire stations, and if you cannot get to one of the stations, you can call the fire chief's office at 348-4132 or 348-4260 to arrange to have bottled water delivered to you. And if you want to donate anything such as food or clothing to Scranton flood victims, you can drop it off at Western Field on Providence Road in Scranton. That's from 8 in the morning until 9 at night. The city says all donations will go to flood victims who live in Scranton.
At 3:16, and Jerry Gartenberg are next with a report on flood insurance. What is covered, what is not.
Plus, Valerie Devine will tell us about coping without heat as the nights grow colder.
Coming October 7th.
Giant Floor's Fall Festival of Savings. Dress up your home now with free decorating and 6 months to pay with no interest.
Here's one of our hottest selling carpets from Evans & Black by Armstrong. Made of Anso nylon and guaranteed 5 years. 3 average rooms of Anso nylon carpet from Evans & Black, just $539.50 inside.
Take advantage of great savings on everything for your home, including custom drapery. Giant Floor's Fall Festival going on now. Don't miss it.
What we got here is a rare bird, a white Purdue chicken. I don't know where it went wrong. Maybe it caught a cold. Maybe it went off its feet. All I know is that somewhere along the line it got fouled up and lost its gold and yellow color. It also lost its right to wear the Purdue name tag. Occasionally, one of my chickens disappoints me, but I make sure of one thing. It will never disappoint you.
Another problem some flood victims in our area have tonight, there's no heat for their homes. For some, that means no hot water either. Newswatch 16's Valerie Devine was in Scranton today to find out how families are coping with no heat.
Sarah George still hasn't cleaned up the mess Hurricane Gloria left behind. It's still piled up behind her home on Main Avenue in Scranton. Besides worrying about that, Sherry has other things she's concerned about. Her family doesn't have any heat or hot water. The water and mud in her basement ruined her oil furnace, and PG&W hasn't turned on her natural gas hot water heater yet. So the dishes are piling up, and a kerosene heater is warming the house.
All they keep telling us is waste. And you know yourself, without the water and without the heat, and I'm afraid with this, I have to watch her so she doesn't get burned, so she doesn't get near it.
But the Georges aren't the only ones having problems. Their next-door neighbors don't have any heat either. And with cold weather on the way, they aren't sure what they're going to do. Florence Roach and Joseph Foster showed me their mud-soaked natural gas furnace. They can't use it until PG&W checks it out.
You gotta have heat. What are you gonna do, freeze to death?
I don't like to be cold. I'm 67 years old and I can't take the cold anymore. So I'll have to put a sweater on or something.
For now, PG&W continues to make the rounds in Scranton, but the company is backlogged with service calls, so it suggests you call a private heating contractor if you can't make it to your house first. Valerie Devine, Newswatch 16, Scranton.
People in our area are now finding out that it can cost you thousands of dollars when your home is flooded.
Action 16 is next with information on flood insurance. Jerry Gartenberg is live now in his Action 16 office.
Jerry, I understand that people just don't bother with flood insurance. Is that right?
Well, I think to some extent that is true, Nolan, and maybe it's because of the price. The average cost of flood insurance is $250. And if a flood wrecks your home and some of the things in it, you have to pay the first $1,000 in damages. More bad news, the place where you're likely to get the most flood damage, your basement, is the place where you have the least coverage. Flood insurance will only pay for damages to basement ceilings, walls, and floors, and for a few things considered necessities, such as your furnace and electrical box. If anything else is damaged or ruined, say your carpeting or paneling, flood insurance won't pay you a penny. Upstairs, you're better off. Flood insurance will pay for damages to the structure of your house and everything in the house. But if one of your possessions is ruined, say carpeting, you only get paid for what your carpet is worth after years of use. If you want to replace it, you have to pay the difference. Now, if all of these things are making you think twice about flood insurance, consider this. The average flood insurance claim is for more than $7,000. And if you say you don't live in a high-risk area,
You should know that a third of all flood insurance claims in Pennsylvania are made by people who live in moderate or low-risk zones, Karen and Nolan.
Jerry, where can people get flood insurance?
Well, I want to clear up a little confusion. The flood insurance program is set up by the federal government, but you can get the insurance locally from an insurance agent.
Okay, Jake, thank you.
Joe.
And our chief meteorologist, Tom Clark, will have his weather watch next.
And I guess it's going to start feeling like fall again, right?
Right. We just had the last one day of the week. Sorry to say. I'll be back to tell you how much rain is going to fall tonight.
Good morning. I'll have a ham and cheese omelet. Make my French toast. Breakfast sandwich with sausage, tomato, and lettuce.
Where do you guys think you are, Wendy's?
At Wendy's, you can get a made-to-order breakfast. Your choice of 4 omelets. A breakfast sandwich with your choice of toppings. Or choose from these other made-to-order entrees.
Breakfast just got bigger and better at Wendy's. All the made-to-order French toast you can eat for just 99 cents. No coupons, no limits. Hurry in during breakfast hours only at participating Wendy's.
The better quality bowling centers in northeastern Pennsylvania have a better-than-average learn-to-bowl offer for you. For only $5 a week, you learn to bowl. Taught by one of our expert certified instructors for 10 weeks. At the graduation present, we'll give you a Columbia White Dot bowling ball professionally drilled to fit for $49.95 free. You don't need a calculator to see that's the best learn-to-bowl deal you'll ever be offered. But hurry, classes are forming now at Valley Lanes, Idle Hour Lanes, Southside Bowl, and Stanton Lanes.
I guess some showers are on the way. Right, Tom?
They're not too far behind me. Kind of felt like Indian summer for a while today, before the clouds rolled in. But things will be changing the rest of the week. Outside now in my backyard, the sky is showing a little bit of blue through the gray. 69 degrees now. Humidity is 71%. The wind is from the southwest at 10, and the barometer 30.04 inches of liquid mercury. It's on the rise. The high here today, 76 degrees. It was delightful for a while. 52 the low this morning. 87 the record high set way back in 1905. A year ago today it rained all day. The high only 55 degrees. A view today from Lake Jean in Sullivan County, where there's quite a bit of color on the trees up there. It'll be another few weeks before the foliage reaches a peak of color here in the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton area. Here's the latest radar image. Notice no red in the color scheme here, indicating no heavy rain in the area, just a band of very light rain coming in from the west now, in line with a cold front. And the satellite picture will show that. There's the line right there. For a time today, it was 76 here in Avoca, 51 in Pittsburgh, where only a quarter inch of rain was measured in the month of September. We had close to 8 inches here in Avoca. Now, this line will ease its way on through overnight tonight, bringing with it a big drop in temperature here for the next few days. Now, here's my forecast for tonight. 1/10 of an inch of rain or less overnight tonight. 50 Concannock, Wagner's in the Poconos dropping down to 47 behind this front. Orwigsburg, 52, and Herbertville in the panhandle of Northumberland County, 48 tomorrow morning, and the wind will be shifting into the west overnight. Here's the sunrise for tomorrow morning, coming over the mountain at 7 a.m., sunset 6:45. Cloudy overnight tonight, no moonshine, I'm afraid. A little bit of light rain, 50, 57 tomorrow, a cool day. Mostly cloudy, but probably dry. A little light rain in the morning is possible, though. Sunshine on Thursday, a beautiful day. More rain coming back in on Friday, only in the 50s on Saturday. So be sure to put the kids in a warm jacket before they go out to school tomorrow morning.
Yeah, just like fall.
Yeah,
Much different.
The Sports Watch is next to Joe Zone and a frustrated fan.
Plus, we'll have a look at the series that will decide the National League East.
The Warriors squared off against the Spartans on a muggy Friday night in Kingston. Bednarski, Kopechny, Russo, and company crunched, blocked, fought, and passed their way in the Warrior House. And even though they crushed Spartan hopes of an unbeaten season, there were no losers the next morning, because it was all there to read about in the Times News, where our beat is your hometown. Does your hot dog have great meat taste?
This hot dog?
Okay.
My tastes too mushy.
Try Cons. Cons has a great meat taste you're going to love. Well,
Great.
Cons uses top quality meat. No fillers, no harsh flavorings. For that great meat taste you deserve. Well, try the great meat taste of Cons.
You're gonna love it.
Joe Zone, sports and the college football rankings. Joe?
It's looking good. If you believe the college football rankings, now, if you believe the people who put them together, then the Penn State Alabama game is one of the top get-togethers of the year. The college coaches poll has Penn State in the 7th spot, Alabama in the 8th. They also have Iowa now as a new number 1 team. They replaced Auburn, which lost Saturday. Oklahoma 2nd, Ohio State 3rd, Florida State 4th, Michigan 5th, Oklahoma State is 6th. Then Penn State and Alabama. And in the Sportscasters poll, by the way, Penn State is 9th, Alabama is 12th. Both Penn State and Alabama are off this coming Saturday, so they both go into the game in 2 weeks 4-0. It's a 3:30 start at Beaver Stadium, and you can see it here on WNEP-TV. Well, he used to be the lightweight boxing champion of the world. That's before Ray Boom Boom Mancini lost his title to Livingstone Bramble. Mancini retired after that loss. 24 years old. At the top of his game, he packed it in. He misses boxing, he told us, but does not miss the training. He was in Scranton last night to speak to the United Churches group. He told us Larry Holmes' obsession with immortality kept him in the ring too long.
It's obvious they waited too long. It's obvious how something can grab at you, like he wanted this record, and he felt that once he got this record, he would be considered the all-time greatest. I think, you always have to be true to yourself. Like myself, I knew I wasn't willing to pay dues. I wasn't willing to go back in. I think Larry could have known that he could have won 100 now, and he was never going to get the credibility or recognition of beating Rocky Marciano's record.
Larry Holmes and my comment about his post-fight act were on the mind of an Eastern Reverend who wrote to me, "Dear Mr. Zone, you did a great disservice to the people of our area when you reported only the comments insulting the Marciano family. You have helped to confuse our young who do not accept loss well themselves by tossing a hero aside so swiftly." Reverend Joseph A. Copley of Easton. Well, it is true that last Monday when I made my comments, I talked only of Holmes' verbal attack of Rocky Marciano, but hey, 2 days after the fight, that was the story. People on the street were still talking about Holmes' vicious attack of a dead boxing champ. I didn't hear anybody mentioning what a great champion Larry had been. I didn't hear anybody talking about the nice things that Holmes said after he dragged Marciano through the mud. Holmes accomplished many things in the ring. Along the way, he may indeed have become a hero. The thing about heroes is that they carry the burden of having to be all things to all people. Therefore, when they fail, as Larry failed when he lost control in his final fight news conference, the disappointment touches many lives. You know what? You couldn't get a seat to St. Louis's Busch Stadium tonight if you rode in on a Clydesdale. The Mets and the Clydes in the first of 3 games that will decide the National League East. Well, the last time they played New York, you see some of that action. The Mets won 2 of 3. That won't be enough this time. The Mets need to sweep to pick 3 games and move into a tie. Just 1 Cardinal win that still leads St. Louis up by 2. Big series tonight. We'll have the highlights. Cincinnati beat San Francisco 7-6.
Okay, Joe.
Thanks,
See you
Joe.
tonight. News 116 continues with winners in the game.
We'll tell you which sophomores are at the head of their class for the 2nd week in a row.
Presenting Bonanza's Giant Ribeye Dinner. A magical treat for only $5.99. An extra large ribeye, a steaming baked potato, all you can eat quick plastic food bar. Our giant ribeye dinner makes hunger feel like magic. How do we do it for only $5.99? That's our secret. Bonanza's Giant Ribeye Dinner, only $5.99, and that's no illusion.
Our 2nd week of the Newswatch 16 news game has a familiar twist to it. The winner of last week's news quiz is the very same class that won top honors the 1st week of the news game. These sophomores at Sacred Heart in Carbondale have won again. They're members of teacher Bob Smith's World Cultures class. Our congratulations were given today by Newswatch 16's Valerie Devine. There's still time for teachers to request our weekly news game quiz. We mail them out each week to all teachers and classes requesting to join in. Teachers can give Newswatch 16 a phone call any weekday.
Congratulations.
Yep.
And that's Newswatch 16 for this Tuesday.
Be sure to join us tonight on the update. We'll be telling you about free medical services being offered to victims of Hurricane Gloria.
World News Tonight is next with the latest problems in the Mideast.
For the team, thank you for joining us.
Enjoy your evening.